Olympic athletes in Pyeongchang going for gold and, of course, representing their countries.
Right. This local doctor, though, isn't competing for medals, but perhaps he deserves gold considering his work. Steve Garagiola explains.
The two-time defending overall World Cup champion.
The Winter Games include high-speed, high-risk sports where athletes push beyond reasonable limits, which can lead to this.
Watch what happens here. She hooks up and takes a tough fall onto her left arm.
Among first responders on the ski hills and snowboard venues, you might see Dr. Jeffrey Kutcher, one of the top sports neurologists in the world.
Really, we're there for the athletes regardless of what country they're from, and we do whatever we can to help them.
His specialty is concussions, which have made sports headlines in recent years.
A lot of media coverage, a lot of political coverage, a lot of intrigue. Movies were made, really careers were made on an agenda that sports are hurting people.
A premise he rejects. As a former hockey player himself, Dr. Kutcher is a strong promoter of sports for children and adults for the many benefits both physically and mentally. Of course, injury is always a risk, but he says concussions are very misunderstood.
If it's recognized early, if it's treated correctly, most often resolves in 7 to 10 days. That person goes back to their life the way they were, and they should not incur any difference in their future risk, or their brain's not changed forever.
But that's not always the case.
Post-concussion syndrome occurs, though, when the symptoms, whether they're headache, sleep issues, memory problems, outlive the injury itself.
Which is why, after 10 years at the University of Michigan, Dr. Kutcher founded the Sports Neurology Clinic in Brighton. His patients range from local high school athletes to former NFL and NHL players recovering from various brain injury and trauma. He says recent awareness has brought important changes in coaching techniques, rules, and restrictions at all levels of sports. But we need to do more.
And continuing to study the effects of playing sports on brain health can lead to even more changes, whether it is improving rules even further or equipment.
In his role at the Olympics, Dr. Kutcher carries the pressure of having the final word. If an athlete should suffer a head injury, he would be the one who might have to say your Olympic dream is over.
It's a tough position to be in, and as a physician that covers sports, you should not be in this position if you are in any way influenced by the stage where you are, by the sport itself. It's really health and safety first, foremost, and only.
He won't compete for any medals in Pyeongchang, but nobody on Team USA has a more important job. I'm Steve Garagiola, Local 4.